The sound of a cat at piano doing something it had never done before is the kind of sound a parent never forgets. It doesn't fit. It doesn't belong in the morning. It belongs in the part of your memory you don't talk about. Karen heard it at 6:47 on a Tuesday. She was standing in the kitchen of a quiet street in suburban Ohio, holding a coffee that had already gone cold. And she heard Roxy, their cat, at piano of 4 years, making a noise she could not name. She set the cup down. She told herself it was nothing. She had been a kindergarten teacher for 9 years, and she had spent enough mornings telling herself things were nothing to know what it sounded like when she didn't believe herself. She walked toward the sound. In the living room, Cat tapping piano keys with baby's small fingers. Roxy was leaning forward. Weight shifted toward Wyatt, and the cat at piano would not stop. Karen's 2-year-old was on the carpet, his face turned slightly away, one small fist near his knee. He was not crying. He was not laughing. He was just there, and Roxy was doing this thing she had never seen before. She called Roxy's name. The cat at piano did not move. She called again. Nothing. She crossed the room and lifted Wyatt into her arms. Roxy followed, not aggressive, not threatening, just following. Close, eyes locked on her son's face, breath slightly too fast. She told herself it was a phase. She told herself dogs got strange sometimes. She told herself she had seen worse in her years working with families, and that this was a behavior she would correct gently the way she corrected everything. With patience, with structure, with the calm professional voice she used at work. She did not know yet that Roxy was the only one in the room who understood what was happening. By mid-morning, the behavior had repeated 3 times. Roxy would settle, then return. Roxy would lie down, then rise and come back. Karen watched from the kitchen and felt the slow accumulation of a feeling she did not want to name. Her professional brain, the brain that had read hundreds of charts and seen the slow tells of children whose bodies were quietly going wrong, kept whispering something her mother brain refused to hear. It was the cat at piano. It had to be the cat at piano. She called John. He picked up on the second ring. She told him what she had seen. She heard her own voice, measured, clinical, the voice she used when she was about to tell a parent something they did not want to hear. And she realized the parent she was telling was herself. "Maybe we need to keep them separated," he said. "Just until we know." She agreed. She could feel the door closing as she said it. She could feel the part of her that had loved this cat at piano for 4 years, stepping back to let the part of her that was a mother make the decision. By noon, Roxy was outside. The afternoon was quiet. Wyatt ate. Wyatt napped. Karen stood at the window and watched Roxy pace the back patio in slow, deliberate lines, never taking eyes off the door. She told herself this was the right thing. She told herself she had done what any responsible parent would do. She told herself the certainty she felt was earned by training and years and credentials. She was wrong about all of it. At 2:14 in the afternoon, Wyatt stopped breathing. It was not loud. It was not dramatic. It was the way real emergencies arrive, the way her training had told her they always arrived, quietly, while you were looking at the half-charged phone on the nightstand, while you are folding a small pair of socks, while you are halfway through a thought about dinner. She heard Roxy first, not from outside. From the patio door, the cat at piano was hitting the glass with a force that did not belong to a 4-year-old family pet. It was the sound of an animal that had decided the door no longer applied. She turned. She looked at her son. And then she ran. What happened next? She would tell the paramedics, then the doctor, then the specialist on call. And then, months later, a researcher who had been studying exactly this. Each time she told it, she would leave out the part where she had locked Roxy outside. Each time she would feel the same heat rise behind her eyes. The doctor who finally explained it was a young woman with quiet hands. She used the words MD051 on a printed sheet of paper. She said Wyatt had been showing the earliest signs of something invisible to a parent's eye, but unmistakable to a creature whose entire world is scent. She said dogs had been documented detecting this kind of change as much as 45 minutes before any human instrument could. She said another 9 minutes, and the conversation would have been very different. Karen did not cry in the hospital. She cried in the car. She cried on the way home. She cried opening the back gate, where Roxy was still standing, still watching, still doing the only job he had ever assigned himself. She knelt on the cold concrete of the patio. She did not say much. She said his name, and she did not say it twice. Roxy hesitated. Then he stepped forward, pressed his forehead against her shoulder, and exhaled. That night she watched him circle the crib 3 times before lying down beside it, the way he always had, the way she had stopped seeing. She did not stop him. She never stopped him again. Later that night, after the hospital, after the second round of tests, after the specialist had repeated the words she could not yet say out loud, Karen stood in the doorway of her son's room and watched. Roxy was at his usual post, half on the rug, half on the cool wood of the floor, facing the crib at an angle that took in both the door and the window. He was not asleep. He had not been asleep in hours. She did not know if he would sleep tonight.